This is Project Management for You.
Are you a solopreneur, individual, or small business owner who struggles with ideas and lacks converting those ideas into reality?
Do you underpromise, afraid you won't deliver?
Learn the least you need to know to start your path of turning ideas into reality and delivering on your promises.
Each episode is designed to help you get things done.
Welcome to Project Management for You with Caesar Abade.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Project Management for You podcast series. I am Caesar Abade, your host, and it is great to have you here. If you are a seasoned project manager, consider this series Project Management Evangelism. Now, if you're new to project management and you'd like to get things done or be better at turning ideas into reality, well, this is the show for you. On this show, I bring you my conversations with the best project managers I know as we try to break down and explain project management to you so you can start turning your ideas into reality, delivering on your promises, and getting things done. Now, at the same time that this is airing, I am actually working on a Kickstarter campaign. If you've been listening to the show, you know this by now. But basically, I'm using my own experience as a project manager and a lot of the insights I'm gathering here in this series to write this book. The book will be called Project Management for You. And so be sure to visit projectmanagementforyou.com to check out the crowdfunding campaign I'm running to help me with the costs of self-publishing. We're coming up at the end of the first, 5 days of this campaign. It's going really well. So the campaign is going to run for most of the month of October 2014. In fact, it's going to end on November 1st, 2014. So if you are listening to during this time, I'd really appreciate your support. So visit projectmanagementforyou.com for more details. Now, let's talk about today's show. Today, I bring you my friend and the excellent project manager, Elizabeth Harrin, and we will break down project management and explain it to you. Elizabeth Harrin is the director of the Autobus Group, a project communications consultancy which helps people tell the story of their projects more effectively. She's the author of Shortcuts to Success, Project Management in the Real World, Social Media for Project Managers, and Customer-Centric Project Management. She's particularly interested in stakeholder engagement and team communications. Elizabeth also works as a practicing project and program manager. She spent 8 years working in financial services before moving into healthcare. Elizabeth writes the blog A Girl's Guide to Project Management, which is fantastic, for which she won the Computer Weekly IT Professional Blogger of the Year award in 2011. She is widely published on project management topics and has contributed to Project Magazine as well as websites Project at Work, projectmanagement.com, and pmtips.net.
Today's special guest and project manager extraordinaire is up next.
Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am doing really well. Thank you. It's great to talk to you again.
Oh, it's lovely to be back having conversations with you.
Yeah, I know you review a lot of books, project management books. So I'm and you do a great job. I mean, I'm always, you publish them as blog posts, and then I always share that with my community. And I'm hoping that one day you'll be kind enough to maybe read my book.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to be brilliant.
Oh, the pressure. So, Elizabeth, you are a project manager. You've been in the field for a long time.
I have,
and
yes.
you have read tons of books on the topic, as we just talked about. And you know project management. So, for someone who does not know what project management is, how would you define it?
I think it's a really good question, and it's really hard to answer. It shouldn't be, because there's lots of people doing project management. And like I say, there's books written about it. I've written books about it. You're doing books about it. We should be able to sum it up in one sentence. But I've heard a lot of people say, I'm a project manager. I manage projects. But really, that doesn't give you much of an idea about what's involved day to day, does it? So putting me on the spot, I would define it as doing something new with a group of people in order to achieve a defined objective. So the project manager's role is to create participation in the project So getting people, making sure people know what they have to do and when they have to do it in order to get that thing done. Even I've made that sound quite long-winded, haven't I?
No, that's good. I mean, it makes sense.
Okay.
And so, and this is surprising to people sometimes that it seems to be about people, most of it, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it is. It's about organizing people and getting them in line, really, to do something. And if you think about, maybe you've managed a project, or you might not have thought of it as a project, but you might have managed a school trip or planned a big party or your wedding or something like that. But you've probably only had you as the main person doing the bulk of the work in that respect. But and that's fine. But when you introduce other people into it, if you've sat on any committees, people will understand that people have different views about how things should be done, and having somebody who can sort of shepherd the flock down the right line and make sure everybody's ready to do their part when the time comes, it gets things done more smoothly and more quickly, and that's what project managers do.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking a guess here that some in the audience, some of the people listening right now, they might not have a team, but they still want to, let's say, create a product, some sort of maybe start a website or something like that. Is it still? Are we still project managers if the team is just us?
Yes, why not? You're still managing a project. It's more complicated the more people you have, but you've still got a project is something with a start, a middle, and an end. And if you're setting up a website or launching a product, you know what the end is, and you know that you're starting it today or whenever it is, and you've got some work to do in the middle to get there. So it's definitely a project, and you're managing that piece of work. And the tools and techniques that you use when you're managing a team of 300 people are very similar to the tools and techniques that you use when you're managing just your own time. Project management tools and techniques are there to help you get things done more effectively. So, all the things that help you build the Olympic stadium are also the tools that will help you structure and work out what tasks you need to do and put those tasks in order so that you can deliver your website for your small business or to grow your business further.
Okay. So let's say the listener wants to start getting on that path of getting things done more effectively. And I believe that project management is there to help, and the language maybe is not accessible, and that's the whole point of this podcast. So in your opinion, what is the least people need to know about project management to start on that path?
Well, I just mentioned tools and techniques there, but to be honest, you don't have to know much about any of that kind of thing.
Okay.
Most people have already managed a project in their life, like I said, they just didn't realise it. It's a wedding, a children's party, a team football tour to another country, or even something less ambitious than that. If it's an idea you put into practice and now it's over, then it was a project, and the skills that you use to do that are the same skills that you use at work to deliver your work projects. But in terms of answering your question properly, the least people need to know is, what are you trying to do? Define your objectives. You have to be really clear about what you're doing. And that helps. You can tell everyone else then what it is that you're trying to achieve. And if you don't know where you're going, as the saying goes, you'll end up somewhere else. So defining your objectives is point one, I'd say. Knowing why you're doing it is point two. It's quite hard to bring people along with you if you need to, and keep the momentum going, even for your own momentum, your own individual motivation, if it's just you working on the project. If you don't really know why it is that you're putting all the effort in. It's the janitor on the moon story. Do you know that one?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Not the janitor on the moon, the man on the moon story with the janitor.
Okay.
I don't know if this is urban myth or not, but there is a story that says a president of the United States touring the NASA building, and was talking to all the teams that he came across as to what they were involved with, and he said to the janitor who was cleaning the floor as they walked down the corridor, "Oh, hello, I'm the president. And what do you do here?" And the janitor said, "I'm helping to put a man on the moon." And like I say, I don't know if that's a true story.
It's a good
or
one.
Not, or an exaggeration of a true story, but it's something that I've always remembered, because it means that the smallest, what might seem like the smallest participation in a big job matters. everybody matters. As long as you're all working for a common goal and you know why you're doing it, he knows why he turned up to work that day, to make sure that the environment was perfect so, space scientists can do their thing and everybody else can do their thing. But his role was still to help get a man on the moon. And if you know why you're doing something, it's a lot easier, like I say, to motivate yourself to carry on. So that was the second thing I had. And I know you wanted the least possible, but honestly, the least possible, I think, is these three things. And the final thing you need to know is that one day it will be over. And so it's very important to know what finished looks like. How will you know when you've got to the end? Otherwise, you're just working on something and it's going to run on and on and on, and it will morph into something else. So think about what your end state looks like.
Mm-hmm. I believe that a lot of people don't tackle projects because they're not exactly sure what it is that they want to do when it comes to, you talk about requirements and definitions up front. So what are your thoughts on that? Is there a way to maybe get started and then define the project and the requirements as you go? What do you think about that?
Yes, you can. I think you can. At the beginning, you need to know, right, I want to build a website, but you might not know that you want it to be this color or to have this piece of functionality. So, of course, you can change things as you go. But your overall goal of building a website is what you're trying to achieve. And it helps to have points along the way where you look back and you think, actually, am I still doing the right thing? Is this still what I want? And even on big projects, things change all the time. So it's quite normal to start off defining what you want to do in a large way, if you like, and then refine as you go. But working out what that large goal is probably the number one most important thing to do, because if you don't know what it is that you're doing, if your goal is something like make loads more money in the next 12 months, that's a vision. That's not a project goal. And you have to be a bit more concrete about what it is that you want to be working on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. I also believe that project management is what allows an idea in your head to become a reality. Do you believe that there are stages in this process, and what are they?
I think there are stages. If you've got an idea in your head and you want to bring it to reality, you already know what your idea is because you've already thought about it. So that the objectives and the defining of your idea that we've just talked about, you're working on, and you can mull it over. And once you've defined that, that's great. Then you have to plan. How are you going to get from a concept to a completed website, or to a new product, or to opening your first office or something like that? So what are the steps that you need to do? Planning is quite a big chunk of work, and you might not get it right first time. That's fine. You add in more tasks later. And then you just have to stop procrastinating, really, and get on with it. Put some systems in place to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And that might be things like task lists, or even just talking to your partner and making sure that they remind you every day that this is your number one objective and this is what you should be working on. So you've got sort of a buddy to help you motivate yourself, and then just do it.
Okay.
So it's not really very many stages, is it? It's define your idea, plan it, and then do it.
Okay. No, that's very good. Very good. And when it comes to planning, in project management, we talk about deliverables and we talk about work packages or the tasks. What's the difference between how can you break down when you're planning? How can you break down your project into smaller chunks? Are there best practices when it comes to that?
There probably are best practices, but the way I do it is to make lists. I write things down on a list. I know people use mind maps, but I start with the big thing that I want to do. So I'm just trying to think if I've planned something recently, and I then tend to break it down into smaller chunks just by thinking, okay, let's work backwards. So take this website example again. Okay, I want to build a website. So what goes into a website? All right, okay, I need to make sure I've got my logo. I need to make sure I've got PayPal integration set up so I can take people's money. and then the next level down. So if I need to sort out PayPal integration so I can take people's money, I need to tell them how much they have to pay. I need to make sure I have a PayPal account. I have to set up my PayPal account. I need to download the PayPal logo so I can stick it on my website so everyone knows they can pay that way. And you do need to think quite creatively, and I think it helps me to put the list aside and then come back to it another day and go, oh, how could I have forgotten to do that? And then you add that on later. It also helps, I think, to talk things through with somebody else, because people will have a different approach. So if you've got a friend who is an expert in, marketing, or just someone who has a different take on life to you, talk them through your ideas and they'll go, right, this is great. You're launching this new service and a new website. Have you got any communication that's going to tell people that you've done it? And they'll come up with another idea that adds more tasks to your list. Okay, right, we need a communication campaign. That means we need a Twitter account. We need an article on this website. We need to talk to all our friends and make sure that they're all liking us on Facebook. And you just get into more and more detailed tasks. Post-it notes help as well. I think if you really don't know where to start, writing down everything you can possibly think of, each thing on an individual Post-it note, then you can stick them all on the wall and move them around and group them together. Mm-hmm. I don't think that probably sounds like it's a really woolly and vague thing to do, but it's start with some idea and break things down. But to me, it has to be done. I need a bit of time where I can actually concentrate, because normally during the working day you've got phone calls and emails and meetings scheduled, and I need to block out a good half a day to plan something new.
Mm-hmm. Amazing how many people talk about the Post-it notes.
Yes. I don't know what we did before Post-it notes, and they were invented just as an accident, weren't they?
They were, yeah, and it's become the backbone of project management.
Yes. Most important tool and technique.
That's
Get
right.
A pack of Post-it notes.
All right. So I wonder if that answers my next question, because I was going to ask you if you could recommend one tool or technique from the project management world to the masses. What would it be and where can we learn it?
Well, I wouldn't recommend, I do love Post-it notes, but that wouldn't be my number one top thing. I think I'd probably have to say risk management.
Oh,
and
okay.
That sounds quite grand, but actually we do it every day. You've probably got most of the knowledge you need in order to do risk management, because, what do you do if the weather forecaster says it's going to rain today? You pack an umbrella, right?
Right.
So that's risk management. There's a risk that it might rain, and you think, okay, what happens if I'll assess the situation and I'll make a plan B just in case it happens. I'll put my umbrella in my bag. So, people do risk management all day without even thinking about it. And all you have to do is apply the same techniques to the work that you're doing. So, if it doesn't rain, well, never mind, you were at least prepared. If it does rain, you've got the umbrella. So it's the same thing. What happens, just think about all the things that could go wrong, and then think, well, if this happens, what am I going to do? So I think a lot of time on projects, we get caught out by things that we could have seen coming if we just spent 5 minutes thinking about it. But when it happens and you don't have a plan B, it can set you back weeks while you try and work out what to do. But if you'd only spent 5 minutes at the beginning thinking, well, what happens if, at the moment, the big risk for me is that my mobile phone is the screen is quite damaged, and it's only going to take one more crash on the floor before the whole thing stops working. And have I backed up all the data on it? No, I have not. I know I have to. But I haven't. I know what my risk plan will be in case the worst happens to my mobile phone, but I haven't actually done it yet. So maybe that's something I'll do this afternoon.
Okay. If you need a buddy to keep you accountable, just let me know. Very good. Okay, risk management. That's I didn't expect that, but it's right. It's really important. Especially, the danger here is for folks to just maybe overthink this and then become paralyzed with fear. Oh my goodness, this is never going to work.
So my office might be hit by lightning. Oh no, what shall I do?
Right.
Yes. I limit yourself to the 5 things.
Okay.
You're right. You can spend hours and hours worrying about what's going to go wrong and procrastinate and never do anything. So it is a bit of a common sense balance between thinking sensibly about the impact it might have if something does go wrong, but also not letting that stop you. Yes, you're right. You don't want to become paralyzed by fear.
Mm-hmm. And the project management body of knowledge, which is the at least here in North America, the main reference book for best practices in project management, it has a whole chapter on this, and so there's a lot of different ways, sophisticated ways we can approach risk management. But what you said there, it just makes sense. Just come up with a list of 5 things that are likely, and if they likely and critical, right?
Yes.
that could happen, and then come up with some sort of a plan to go around them just in case.
Yeah, there's lots of books that have got chapters on risk management, and there's a good project management for dummies book as well that's got bits and pieces inside that it's really easy to read. If you find the PMBOK guide slightly overwhelming, as many people do.
Yeah, it's not a fun read. Okay, well, let's circle back to talking about people. Managing projects, as we talked about here, often means working with other people. And one thing that I find challenging sometimes is number 1, knowing what and when to delegate, and number 2, how to compel people and encourage them to collaborate on a project. So, what are your thoughts on those things?
Well, I don't think you can compel people. You can encourage them to participate, but they have to want to. Well, I suppose if you can, I don't know, it depends on who they are, whether you can dictate to them that they will be involved. But I personally find that you get better results if they want to work. So make it hard for them not to work on it by putting in place some ways of working that you expect them to use, for example. So if you want them to collaborate with you, take away the option for them to work alone. So one thing that we do on big software projects is something called pair programming, where 2 developers will work together to develop a piece of code, and that's that is the mandated way that they will write software. And you could do something similar by saying nobody gets to write a document without having somebody else read it through, or something like that. So you can set some sort of ground rules which forces people or encourages people strongly to work together if you've got more than one person on your team. And your other point was about delegation, wasn't it? And I would say delegate as much as you possibly can, because chances are you're working in a small business, or you've got a day job as well. So the more stuff you don't have to do, the better it is for you, because you've got plenty of other things to do with your day. And I think the project manager's role, remember, is to direct the work, keep everything under control, not to actually do the tasks. So in reality, and I do this too, project managers find themselves doing the tasks, especially if you're the subject matter expert or there is just you. But the more that you spend your time making sure that the right people are doing the right things at the right time, and the less doing work yourself, then you should find your own workload is smaller, so that you're delegating the work out to other people. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. What do you think of this? I read this in a book that you can divide the tasks into the ones that only you can do, the ones that you don't want to do,
right,
and the ones that you shouldn't do.
Okay.
And then maybe divide them into those 3 groups, and then it becomes kind of clear which ones you should delegate. What do you think of that?
That sounds great. I'd be a little bit nervous about delegating all the stuff I don't want to do, because if you don't want to do it, the chances are nobody else does either. It's all the dross tasks. And so, admittedly, I work on quite big projects most of the time, and I try to make sure that my team are sheltered from all of those dross tasks, because it makes their working life better if they've got the exciting, motivating work to do, and they are a bit shielded from all of the boring stuff or admin or office politics. Someone's got to do them though, so one of the things to do would be to sort of rotate them round. So I might not want to take minutes in a meeting, but I'll do it this week, and someone else will do it next week, and then someone else will do it the week after.
And I'm always surprised at when I find someone who actually enjoys doing things that I dread. And
well, use them. Even if they love it, why not? Ask them to do it.
The bookkeepers out there, I just don't understand. But some people really like it, and
exactly.
I think it's also a matter of finding people who have those strengths that you're lacking, and then,
yes, you're surrounding yourself with people who plug your gaps.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. Okay, Elizabeth, this is really good. So, for the listener right now who wants to learn more about project management and maybe is convinced that this is what they need right now to get that idea out of their heads and turn it into reality, what is your final thought?
Well, I love project management, as you know, and it's fabulous at helping you get things done. But you've just got to remember it's only a tool, and there's plenty of rules. If you got a book and you read it and you didn't agree with 50% of the stuff, you'd still be perfectly capable of managing a project, I reckon. Some of the rules would be better broken in some situations. And I think lots of people who start out with project management or who start thinking, I want to apply this, and I count myself in that when I started, they're often really keen to follow all the processes and do everything by the book and produce all the documents that the book says you should. But you have to give yourself permission sometimes to just deviate where it makes sense. You've got a goal to achieve. How you get there is completely up to you. And project management can make it a lot easier if you apply some of the tools and techniques sensibly and get out of your own way and make sure that you've got a clear path to doing that. It should help you. It shouldn't make you procrastinate or worry too much about how you move forward.
Very good, Elizabeth. So if people want to learn more about you and the great work that you do in project management, where should they go?
I have a blog which you can read, which is called A Girl's Guide to Project Management. So it covers news and reviews, like you said, book reviews and opinion about project management. And so it's basically me, I'm the girl, and this is your guide to project management. And that is at www.girlsguide2pm.com. Yeah. Or you can find me on Twitter as well.
Yeah, and I have to say, it sounds like it's a website for girls, but it's not. I really enjoy it, and I'm not a girl. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great to talk to you.
Don't forget to check out Caesar's new book, Project Management for You. Available now at projectmanagementforyou.com.
So there you go. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with my friend Elizabeth Harrin. Elizabeth is an endless source of content and information when it comes to project management. She blogs, she does book reviews on a regular basis, and she has products, she has digital products, she has books. The list goes on and on and on. So I really recommend you visit A Girl's Guide to Project Management and check out the work that she is doing. I'm really honored and blessed to have her in my circle of friends, as she is really an authority in project management and has a lot to offer. So check her out online. Now, if you enjoy what you are hearing here and you'd like more, let's say a step-by-step approach to using project management to start turning your ideas into reality, delivering on your promises, and getting things done, head on over to projectmanagementforyou.com and consider backing my book project. Now, if you're listening to this episode way into the future, beyond, let's say, November 1st, which is the official end of the campaign, November 1st, 2014, that is, you'll be able to get a copy of the book at that address. And again, the address is projectmanagementforyou.com. So that's it for this week. So have a great day, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again on Monday, 3 days from now. And until then, remember that life is a project and you are the manager. Enjoy the weekend and ciao, ciao.
Thank you for listening.
Tune in next time for more inspiring interviews and key information to help you get things done.
Want to learn more? Go to projectmanagementforyou.com and order Caesar's book, Project Management for You.
Your path of turning ideas into reality starts now.